What's up, everyone? Just wanted to take a couple minutes of your time, talk about a serious topic today. Something that isn't new, it's been going on in our country for a while, but people like us, we have to stand up, we gotta stand against it, and we gotta talk about these issues to spread them and do something about it. You see, our country, we spend way too much on our defensive contract, and we spend way too much money overseas. We send so much of our money to fight other wars overseas, and you look around in our own country and you have so much homelessness, you have so much veterans on the street, so much drug problems, and it's like we could be fixing these issues within our country, but instead we send all of our money outside the country. This is something I talked about with my podcast with Dylan Nava, the Truth, Love, Freedom podcast. I also talked about it a little bit in my video Inside Traders and Inside Traders. But the idea is we spend way too much of our country's money building weapons for defensive contracts, but then if we never use these weapons, we end up sending them to other countries. And at that point, it's not really a defensive contract. We are sending it to other countries, so we are on the offensive side, even if the other countries are defending themselves. What we are doing is no longer a defense thing. We're not defending against no one. Most of these weapons, we're making so much of them, we send them out, and it becomes an offensive thing, and we make money as long as these countries keep having conflicts and keep going to war with one another. The interesting thing is, the weapons we send today might be the same weapons we're fighting against tomorrow. This wouldn't be the first time it happened in our history, too. So if you don't want to make the same mistakes as before, you have to know your history, you have to know the past, and you have to stop before you make the same mistakes that the past made. See, we have to start doing a better job within our country, respecting the retired military, and bringing back more honor for all the people that went out to war and never made it back home. See, the way we treat our veterans nowadays is disgusting, and this might be a reason why a lot of people are not interested in the military from the beginning. What we have to do for our veterans is have rehabilitation centers, have ways to make their lives as normal as possible when they come back from war, when they come back from battle. Our goal, and something we should be fighting against, something we should be going to war against, not war on terrorism, we went to war on that. The war on drugs, we did that. When are we going to go on the war against letting our veterans die in the street? When are we going to stand up against that and be like, no more veterans are going to die in these streets no more? Let's do something about that. Once we start spending more of the military budget on helping that, I think other people would be more open to joining the military. I also think the military as a whole, we could be using a lot of that money in better ways. One way is we could be spending some of the military's budget on the infrastructure within the US. See, if we're trying to protect ourselves against domestic and foreign threats, we have to make sure our country is as safe domestically as possible. We should be fixing the roads, we should be fixing the bridges, we should have better conditions for the airports, we should be able to, if something happened, we should be able to get our country together, get all the supplies. Other countries have train systems, high-speed train systems that go 200 miles per hour. They have them over in Japan. You see, if we had something like that, we could get troops from one side of the country to the other side so much quicker. If an emergency happened, we could be in whatever state where the hurricane or whatever emergency is, and we could get emergency relief there a lot faster. These trains going 200 miles per hour, if we built some kind of infrastructure in the US like this, we could be getting from one side of the country to the other side up to 3-4 times as fast. Another thing we should be strengthening within the US is our electrical grids. See, we have an eastern, we have a western, and Texas has its own electrical grid. We have to strengthen them up as much as possible to always be prepared and protect us against foreign attacks and hacking. This should be something else that the military is spending some of its budget on, protecting our electrical grid, because if our electric goes down, a lot of the systems and a lot of the infrastructure within America goes down too. So all in all, we should be spending a lot more of our money into the veterans, into the infrastructure, and we should stop sending all our money out to war, because a lot of that money we are sending out, a lot of those equipment and weapons we're sending out, we're gonna have to one day fight against. See, it's an honor to live in this country. It's a privilege to live in a country where so many people tried to stand up for the right thing. So many people tried to strive to make this country a better place. We should keep going in that direction, and should be doing whatever we can to make this country a better place. Like I said, it's a privilege and it's an honor to be in this country. And it's a privilege and honor to have the title of the peacekeepers of the world. But at what point do we take that title for granted? At what point are we causing more havoc than peace? We have to recognize these issues. We have to talk about them. We have to address the issues and fix them at the core, at the roots. If we keep ignoring these issues and turn a blind eye, it will just leave a worse nation for the future. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all have a great day.